You are the creator. Raise your energy, state your aims and outcomes, bring your mind, body, spirit in the same place at the same time, and discover just how amazing the things you do can become.
If you're a writer or creative who wants to keep your output brilliantly energized and avoid dipping into despair, blocks, or burnouts, then this episode of the Write the Book Inside You podcast is for you. My guest, Silvia Hartmann, is president of the Guild of Energists and pioneer of modern energy art. She brings a scientific yet highly original perspective on how to manage your creativity and inspiration and produce work that you enjoy doing and others flock to buy. Stay to the end, because I think you will enjoy hearing how she advises us to start your project every day by dialoguing with your dear energy mind. Hello and welcome to the Write the Book Inside You podcast. Tips, tools and interviews for coaches and healers like you who want to write a non-fiction book to boost your visibility, clients and cash flow while making a difference. I'm your host, Carol Westmore, a multi-published author and energy psychology tapping book coach. Now let's jump into today's episode. Well, today I welcome Silvia Hartmann, creator of modern energy and president of the Guild of Energists. Silvia is a genius when it comes to creating programs, concepts, and multiple books that change lives and explode stuck, stayed concepts about time, space, reality, and today, creativity. Based in the UK, originally from Germany, Silvia has a large YouTube following, and one of her pioneering concepts, which she'll share with us today, has over 1 million downloads on her website. Welcome, Silvia.
Hi, it's a pleasure to be here with you today.
So, Silvia, I'm going to ask you, I've made a brief introduction, but I haven't really shared the 30,000-foot view of your work.
My original breakthrough in realizing that energy was entirely real was in animal behavioral work. I discovered the effects of interactions of something that we called the invisible something. That's allowed in science. You're allowed to put in an X factor. And so we could see that there was something being exchanged, an invisible something. And I knew nothing about energy or anything like that. Never interacted with it, never been religious, never been new agey in any way. But I could see there was something being exchanged. And when these exchanges, these invisible exchanges were being disrupted, behavior would just get worse. Predictably, and also systemically in animals, in horses, in cats, in dogs, in dolphins. This was fascinating to us. My research group at the time were fascinated by it. And then we started to see the same exchanges in between human beings. Just so structural to see that there was an invisible something being exchanged. And I then had a revelation and I thought, oh my God, it's love. The less love quantity is being exchanged, the worse behaviors become, the more stressed creatures become, until there is some kind of breakdown where they literally collapse in on themselves. And that's caused by the absence or the presence of love. Now, that word was way too controversial. So we started talking about energy. What I started out with is the modern energy chart. And so this simply tracks this pattern that we found, which goes from -10, which is death, to +10, which is an enlightenment state. And so this is how you can track just about any social creature and their stress states, and also how well they can perform. It's an essential scientific instrument. This affects everything. I mean, our energy states, our moods, if you want to call them that, our emotional states affect everything we do. And of course, they also affect creativity. Right, so there's our link in there, is that, can I show that just quickly, how this affects creativity, if I may. We have a free ebook that you can share if you like, with the chart and loads of explanations.
Oh, good. We'll definitely put a
Called
link to
Revolution,
that.
and we can put a link to that.
Okay.
So if we start here at this end,
Yes.
this is your genius state. This is your state when you are a genius. You're connected, you know what you're doing, your body is moving fluidly, you're not making any mistakes, you're perfectly in the zone. You are creating at the genius level up here. And this is not exclusive to clever people. Any human being, if they get energy high enough, will become poetic, will be able to express themselves in extremely sort of holy terms even. It's just something that happens when you get that high. And so as we're going down this chart, so here we got a Hollywood blockbuster, I'm guessing, and here we got a nice somebody who's really working at their novel and writing and rewriting and but he keeps on going, which is good. This guy here, he has an idea for something creative, but he doesn't have enough energy to actually make it happen. It's a person who thinks of writing a book or thinks of painting a picture or thinks of taking an art class, who knows. But they're staying on the couch. They don't have enough energy to actually go and make it happen, do something. This guy here, there's your creative block. When energy is at zero, and you're feeling neither good nor bad, and there's just everything is boring and dreary, and you're sitting in front of a white wall and watching the paint dry. And as energy goes down in our bodies, now here we get into the negative energy states. And this guy's got question marks over his head. So he's going like, oh, I wonder if I'm good enough as an artist, if I'm creative enough, if I can make it, if I'll have another idea. Oh dear, do you think my poem's any good? When you start asking people to validate your artistic, creative endeavors, you know you're in a bad energy state, really seriously, because these guys up here, they know it's good. They can feel it in their heart. They don't need validation, which is cool. But going back to this green guy, so then it gets even worse. Now we're getting into anxiety, panic attack, freakouts. And then eventually you got this huge explosion at -7, where a person just goes crazy, where they burn all their works, or they throw the manuscript out of the window, or start self-mutilating, whatever. Simply a result of the energy states getting lower and lower and lower. After this outburst has happened, you got your depressed person. I knew it was all a failure. Nobody loves me. And that's just normal and natural. And any creative person, any artist goes through that all the time.
Yes.
Up and down on the scale. And what that does is it creates this confusion in people. Because one minute they really can touch the fabric of the universe and weave the lines of time and space into a tapestry of their own making. And the next day they're like, I don't know if I'm any good. And the next day they are angry and freaked out. And the next day depressed. And then there's writer's block. And then how can one person be so useless, so blocked, so holy, so creative? How does that work in the self-concept? What am I? Get better energy flow going, and that then results directly in better creative output, better ideas, more energy to implement the ideas in the real world. It's wonderful, really.
Have you had to discover that yourself? Talk about something called the aspects of yourself. Am I on the right track with your own personal creative genius?
The aspects model actually answers this who am I question. Because what we say is you are just here and now. That's who you are. And anything in the past, those are past aspects of you. And in the future, there's future aspects of you. But in the meantime, you is only right here and now, slithering down the old timeline towards the light as we do. That aspect model is just super useful. Originally, it was because when people were like doing negative therapy and they're like, I am 3 years old and my father's just hit me in the head and I am suffering. And this is not useful because you are not 3 years old. God damn it, you're a 95-year-old man in a wheelchair. Look, please, you are not 3 years old. We need to get that straight in our heads. So you have an aspect. That aspect was 3 years old, and that aspect experienced these things, which gives us so much more scope to deal with our timeline. It also gives us more scope to deal with these energy fluctuations. Instead of saying, oh, my aspect behaved terribly yesterday, we can say, well, around about 7 o'clock, my aspect got really stressed. And they said some things that I would never say if I was in a better energy state.
Are those parts of us that you call aspects, are they?
They're not parts.
They're not parts. Okay.
They're complete people in their own time and space. They are complete energy, bodies, mind, body, spirit, physical, everything in their environment of that time. These are aspects of us, past aspects and future aspects.
So, Sylvia, the big question is, can you dissolve the ones that are no longer serving you, that pop up when you don't really appreciate?
God, no. But they're all a part of this life. You can't go cutting bits out of your lifeline. And they're not parts. They're all, every one of them is a version of you. A younger version, a more stressed version. But it's not just about forgiving and therapy and trauma and all of that. It's not. We have loads of aspects who were really high energy, who had fantastic experiences. There we've got Star Matrix there. If anybody who's listening to this is really fed up with trauma and psychotherapy, really fed up to the teeth, please, I recommend this book, Star Matrix. You can get it on Amazon all across the world and read it and enjoy, and really, really enjoy. But going back to this thing of creativity and managing your creativity for creative people, I have always been a very creative person. And I put some of it down to having been sexually abused as a child. What this causes is extreme strange side effects over time. One of them is out-of-body experiences and nightmares, and the ability to leave your body and go somewhere else and become very aware of the uses of imagination, if you want to call it that. But I don't call it that. I call it the other world, because our conscious mind can be right here, sitting here in my little room, got my microphone, I've got you on the screen, and we're talking. But I could also go somewhere else. I could go to another world where great striding beings are walking down the road. And each time they put their feet down, boom, 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 you can feel that in your body. And you see them and you're sort of scared but amazed at the same time. You could be in that world instead. To understand that this other world isn't just a distraction, isn't just a hobby, but is a superb ability that human beings have, not just those who've been sexually abused. Everybody has that. Be able to use these worlds to have adventures, experiences, do healing, get material for stories, songs, build pictures, as a creative wellspring, rather than copying other people's stuff. Hey, 1993, I started asking the question, can everybody do this? Can everybody access these worlds? And that was Project Sanctuary. It was called Project because it was a research project of mine, to find out if I can get people to do this thing of stepping into the other worlds and having adventures there, if they could learn to do that. And the answer to that is yes. The project concluded finally in 2016. I took that long, 25 years or something, because I wanted to be absolutely sure this wouldn't make people worse, that it was a beneficial thing to be doing in the long term. And so then the project concluded, and we have a thing now called Supermind instead, which is about the conscious mind and the energy mind get together. They become more than the sum of their parts. They become the supermind, and that happens naturally in the very high energy states.
You say you took 25 years of research and validation in your own self. You getting the results with your clients and your followers, am I right? Could you give us an example of someone?
There are an awful lot of techniques you can use, including lots of modern energy techniques that you can use if you have some kind of really mundane, boring problem, like not wanting to wash up dishes or feeling comfortable paying your bills, or this mundane stuff. Loads of mundane ways to deal with mundane stuff. Project Sanctuary is for the other stuff. There's loads of stuff you can buy with your credit card. All the stuff you can't buy with your credit card. That's what Project Sanctuary is for, in essence. Big questions of life, wellsprings of creativity, sorting out for yourself what your relationship is with God or with angels, or, who you are in the greater scheme of things as a soul being. That's what Project Sanctuary is for.
Okay. So are you going to share with us ways as writers and authors that we can use some of your techniques?
The way I see this is that we have this living energy body. Everybody does. And the head of the energy body and the neurology of the energy body is what people used to think of in the olden days as the sub or unconscious mind. So in other words, it's simply the head of your energy body, of your living energy body. Your living energy body's got heart of energy, it's got healing hands, and it's got a head. And this head is designed to compute energy realities. That's what it's for. That's its purpose. When you stress it, like everything else, it starts to get garbled and scrambled. So you can see that in schizophrenics, right? That their metaphors start melting. And when people get stressed, their metaphors melt. And in the end, you get some madness, like putting a frog into a blender. But that's just a stress effect. When a person isn't stressed, they can communicate really easily with what I like my students to use the term, my dear energy mind. I know you don't speak linear language. I know you speak in sounds and visions and sensations. And I'd like to learn more about your ways. I know you are here to serve me. I know you are here to make my life starry and better than it is. My dear energy mind. That's what I encourage my students to say and think. So what we tend to do is that we start in the heart position, which is where you point to the place where you would say, this is me or I. And you put center of your leading hand over the top of that spot, other hand on top. Take a deep breath in and out. And that is the heart position. We start almost every technique in the heart position because simply tells everybody involved we're going to do something together. The physical body, we can feel that really through our first sense, the sense of feeling. Energy body is involved because we're actually putting our power centers into the heart center field and charging up the hands of energy. The mind is involved. And the energy mind can be involved too if we invite it to the party. Any kind of creative endeavor, we start simply with a setup. Dear energy mind, give me something beautiful today to make me happy, to light my way. And the conscious mind asks the question, but the energy mind has to provide the answer in the form of ascension, which is not just a vision, not just seeing. It's a full body experience. So, dear energy mind, give me something to make me happy today. What's the time of day in this happy place? Morning, afternoon, night, midnight? What's the time of year? Is it summer, autumn, winter, spring? And what's the weather today? What's the environment? And what else is here? And so anybody who's reasonably non-stressed and is reasonably functional enough to read a newspaper can have this experience that the questions are being answered by something, by the dear energy mind, not by some mysterious thing, some giant entity from outer space. It's just your own dear energy mind answering the questions the conscious mind has put to it. Then normally we talk about a little bit, what did you see? Where did your dear energy mind take you? Did you get a place today with me here?
Yes.
What did you get?
I love a waterfall or seascape. I go there.
Yeah, right. And so you're now in a place, and this place is called a habitat. And you can just spend time there and have a good time and explore, find treasures and riches, find the starting point for a story. For some reason, earlier on, started talking about, giant, strange beings walking around. That habitat is like standing somewhere and there's a story to be told in this. Now, I could paint the giant beings walking, or I could create a dance where you become a giant being walking, which would be awesome for energy raising. I could start a story. Strange planet, a little child seeing such a giant being for the first time, and he wants to become a rider. Could be the song of the giant walking beings that I'm translating onto the keyboard or into the guitar. It's infinite creativity. That's what it is. All we have to do is ask the dear energy mind, make a setup.
Okay. And from that energy, you could come back to, let's say you're working on a nonfiction book. You could come back to your computer and continue because you've...
Oh God, yeah. I pushed this. I pushed this like crazy. Back in the day when Google was still playing fair and you could get keywords into an article, gave my dear Energy Mind the job of creating an article using a set of, I think it was 150 keywords. Gave it a length of this article of 1,500 words and said, go. And it did. It calculated and wrote that thing for me. It was brilliant.
Really?
I was absolutely loving it. Once you start working with setups, not just turn on the computer and sit there and go, nah, just make a setup. What are you doing here? Let's all get on the same page here. Right. Okay. Today I want to write a short inspirational poem, no more than about 10 lines that I can post to Facebook and that's going to get loads of like and that will cheer me up as well. And I'm going to be proud of posting. Right. Let's go, dear Energy Mind.
And then you go.
And then start typing using a setup as an absolutely essential part of your everyday creative process. I can say, give me something extraordinary that I've never heard before. Show me something I've never seen before. Go on, dear Energy, and sock it to me.
Yeah. So you're really in a playful mood. And I think one of the questions you tell people to ask is, how can I make this easy, or how can this be easy, and how can this be fun? And in a way, what you're saying to me is, instead of seeing your writing task that you've got to finish your book as something up there, that you've got to struggle towards, you're bringing it into a playful...
Yeah, the way to do that, though, is to raise energy. If you raise energy, everything becomes playful. That is the general rule for all things, is that if you raise energy, your performance becomes better. Across the board, mind, body, spirit, there are a billion ways to raise energy.
Yeah.
One of the greatest, fastest energy raisers is talking about sex. Sexy, sexy, sex, sex. Yes, talking about sex is a wonderful way of raising energy. Modern stress management, which is based, the basic sort of entry-level thing into this, is based around, first of all, becoming aware what you're already doing to raise energy. Some people need a cup of coffee because their energy levels have dropped. Learning how you are managing your own energy moment to moment in real life is the absolute key. You can then choose to do something more energetic, or you can choose not to. It's about knowing how you work as a person, how every one of us works, what we do to raise energy, what happens in our lives that bring us down and depress us, fix the leaks. Where's the energy going out? After mother-in-law's been round and told you for half an hour how useless you are yet again, and then you're suicidal, and you get to the keyboard and you're going, I want to write an uplifting poem. Just to be energy aware. This is what I'm wishing for the world to be. Understand the invisible something is real and it influences your performance, your abilities, your self-esteem, your health, your immune system, everything. One serious tip that I've been giving creatives, a lot of people, as they are getting into their creative careers, they have other work and they have families and such. And what happens is that they do everything else first and then try to be creative when the kids are in bed, basically. So now I'm going to be creative. When they're exhausted, when they're tired, when they've got literally nothing left to give. Not only does this result in substandard creation, because those tired, exhausted aspects, they cannot possibly do as well as a fresh, bright, cheerful, fully energized aspect. If you are a creative and you need to create, put it the other way around. Do the creation first. Even if your kids get up at 4 o'clock in the morning, you have to get up at 3:30. It's okay. You can go to bed when they go to bed. If you start with something creative when you've got the energy, you are already such a better position to actually end up creating something that will change your life, so you don't have that boring job anymore, so you can make money from it. Number 2 tip, please make a setup. It doesn't constrict your creativity. It gives you control of your creativity. Be clear what you want to do. Dear Energy Mind, today we're going to make a wonderful song, a brilliant dance, so everybody knows what you're trying to do and everybody can help. And the third is raise some energy. There's loads of techniques, lots and lots of ways to raise energy. Tapping is a nice, easy, simple way. And so what I would like to invite you is to just try that out for yourself. It's a simple 10-finger 10 steps to more energy. As we're going to be painting or, making gestures in dance, or we're going to be writing on a keyboard or with a pen, or we're doing makeup, which is also creative. We'll be using our hands, right? So let's activate those magic creative hands so that they sparkle, and can't wait to get to work. Simply going to touch the tips of the fingers for a change rather than the sides. Let's touch the tips of the fingers. Let's go through some happy things like, I want to be creative. I want to be happy being creative. I want to create wonderful things. I want to create things that people love and enjoy. I want to create things that children love and enjoy. I want to create more love in the world. I want to be a good influence on this planet. I want to write with power and strength. I want to write something magical. I want to have a wonderful time and learn something that I didn't know before. Then we can wrap our hands together and we can go to work. Can you feel that in your fingers? I can. I can feel that tingling all the way up my arms into the back of my neck. And this only took 2 minutes.
Sylvia, is that because these are meridian points, or doesn't that matter? You're just intending.
We're doing it on our fingers because our fingers are what creates. We create through our hands when we make a physical object. It's a combined mind, body, spirit thing.
Okay.
The mind says the affirmations, the body feels the touch. Hello, body, you're in the game as well, not left out. And the spirit is obviously the living energy body that each one of us has, which is always happy when we pay some attention to it. It brings mind, body, spirit together in this little happy exercise. What you say as a creative, people accuse me of being a happy bunny, and I'm not. Please believe me, I'm not. You are the creator. You can say, I want to make something that's going to be horrible and bloody and everybody's going to be freaked out by it. You can say that too. You are the creator. Raise your energy. State your aims and outcomes. Bring your mind, body, spirit in the same place at the same time and discover just how amazing the things you do can become.
This is so empowering, inspiring, and we have to end it here, but where can people follow up and find out more about you and your work?
As a single URL, let's go with goe.ac. This is the Guild of Energists site. From there, you can go to almost everywhere. Definitely like more people to watch my YouTube videos.
Yes.
And just search Silvia Hartmann, Silvia with an I, and you will find my channel, and I'd love to have you there. It'd be awesome, yeah? May I end with my favorite little poem? It's only 4 lines.
Please do.
Now raise your crown of lights. Unfold your radiant wings. You own both day and night and do such splendid things.
Thanks for joining me on today's podcast. Want a free gift to inspire you further on your book writing adventure? My free checklist, 5 book hook tips to kickstart your book writing journey, will help you get clarity on the key essentials to make your book a winner. Download it at writethebookinside.com/free gift. The links are in the show notes. Until next time, a big virtual hug and keep writing.